or kill y'all with kindness. I kill ya. My natural persona's much worse. You've been warned if you've been born or if you conform. Slap up a cop and snatch him out of his uniform. Leave him with his socks hard.
Hey, what's up? It's Noah Taborda here with Futbol Weekly, episode 3. Just like I said yesterday, told you guys I'd be doing the show today. And this week I was able to do it. As I said on my college football show last week, I was unable to do it. It was mostly because of homework, getting used to a junior year in high school. It's tough, but, as I start to work it out, now I think I'll be able to do it more consistently. Being able to fit three, not she, not he, 3. They all rhyme, but not the same word. 3 shows in is sometimes difficult, but the majority of the weeks, now that I've gotten through the first couple of weeks, I think I'll be good. I think I'll be ready to go. And it's good to be back. Once again, just reminding you guys, I'll remind you at the beginning and end of every show, the Blake and Noah show will be on this Sunday. It will be on at about 7 Central Time, 8 Eastern, or 5 Pacific. That's when we normally do it. Tune in for that. Of course, next week, I will have my college football show on Tuesday. Contact information, if you want to call in, the number would be 224-563-8444. Again, that is 224-563-8444. And my Twitter, if you want to tweet me, it's at Tibbs Taborda. That is at Tibbs, capital T-I-B-S, _ Taborda, capital T-A-B-O-R-D-A. So contact me, throw out some thoughts, some comments, anything you want to talk about, and I'll try to answer it as best I can. So without further ado, let's get into some soccer, and we're going to start out with a little German football. And this is some news once again between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, the two teams that made it to the Champions League final last year, which Bayern Munich did end up winning, both in Bundesliga, both German clubs that are competing for the best spot. And it has now come to the forefront that Robert Lewandowski will go to Bayern Munich this January. That ends all hope for Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City. But he did confirm that he will be going there. This marks the second player in the past year to go to Bayern Munich, from Borussia Dortmund in the past year. The other player was Mario Götze, who also went. He ended up sitting out the championship game in May. So this is big news for Bayern Munich as they continue to bolster their team. And now that he's coming in January, I definitely think that they should be the front runners to win the Champions League again. There are obviously plenty of other good teams when you look around Europe. You don't want to limit it to the team that won last year. You have teams up there that are playing very well. Chelsea's playing averagely well, but it's still tough for them. Saint Etienne is actually playing very well, but they're not in the Champions League, unfortunately. Porto is playing well, so that's good for them. It's going to be difficult. Those are a couple the smaller teams. Porto, obviously, one of the smaller teams. A team that's been struggling, Manchester United. But the big clubs you got to look at, obviously, Real Madrid. You got to look at Juventus despite their tie against Copenhagen. And, of course, Barcelona. And I forgot to mention them. Of course, Borussia Dortmund. Despite losing Lewandowski, they're still a decent team. They're still looking good this year. I expect them to continue to compete. But it's big news for Bayern Munich as they add another quality player to an already star-studded roster. Now we're going to move on to some bad news, actually, right now. And it's about the World Cup in 2022 in Qatar. In case you don't know, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding that. Lots of news. Lots of people don't like it. They think that FIFA was paid off, that Blanc and Sepp Blatter were being paid for their sending the World Cup there. Obviously, Qatar, one of the richest countries in the world in per capita, that may be because of the millionaires and billionaires that live there, but obviously one of the richer countries. And now there's more controversy surrounding them. Whether or not this has to do with the media and other countries trying to get the World Cup taken away, I don't know. But there is news coming to the forefront that migrant workers from Nepal were having their pays withheld to prevent them from leaving or dying due to extreme working conditions. So if you don't know, it's extremely hot in the summer. It can get up to 120 degrees outside. And these workers were working all day. And apparently, the Nepalese workers were dying at a rate of almost one a day. And a lot of them were in their 20s and early 30s. And they just died suddenly some from heart attacks, stroke, lots of different things. And they're saying that this is almost at the same level of slavery, what would be modern-day slavery. So this is bad for Qatar, even if it's not true. FIFA really doesn't want this. They don't want to be caught up in a scandal, so to speak. They already have a lot of heat coming on them. And I don't think they will move the World Cup from Qatar, as Sepp Blatter doesn't normally like to be wrong. And if he moved it, he would obviously be coming out as saying, oh, I'm wrong now. He already said that he was wrong to move it there, but then he backed it up and said he won't move it. So if he comes out and says and changes it again, it won't look good for him. But if this continues to go this way, FIFA may have no choice because they don't want another scandal. They can't handle this. And it's like if you have a coach that got caught up in some kind of scandal, even if he wasn't responsible for it, the problem is, even if it turns out that he didn't do it, you don't want him around because now he is representing the past, and that past is obviously one that wasn't successful, that there was scandals in. But we'll see. Qatar really coming under a lot of fire. And just another comment, people say, oh, well, all of this stuff happens everywhere, that there's like hate on the World Cups. I never heard about any workers dying in South Africa. I heard that workers went on strike, or I haven't heard about it in Brazil either. So this is the first time I've really heard that people are dying while working. It sounds like it could be true, though, because it is really hot over there. And it's very difficult to work. But I would be surprised if Qatar really did do this, but it's still not good news for them. Now on to the next topic, and this is surrounding the current best player in the world, Lionel Messi, who he's getting a lot of criticism after coming out of the game, I believe, yes, against, who are they playing? Let me see. It doesn't say here, but they were playing on Saturday against Real Sociedad, and what happened is he was substituted out, and it turns out that, this is what he says. He says he didn't do it, but a lot of people were saying that he made a gesture at Coach Gerardo Martino. He's their third coach in the past 3 years, following Guardiola's exit. Then they moved on to another coach, and now they have Martino. They were up 4-1, and he was substituted out with 9 minutes left, and apparently he made a rude gesture, and many people thought he was upset. But Messi said, "I didn't make any gesture when Martino subbed me. Nobody likes to be go off." That's what he said. Obviously, terrible grammar. Nobody likes to be go off, but we can accept it as it's the best for our team. So the question now is, if Messi did make a gesture, is it because he's unhappy with the way the club is handling it? Is he unhappy with the new coach? It's interesting to see, but this isn't necessarily characteristic of Messi. He has been in the news a lot lately, which is unusual for him. In the past, he's kind of kept to himself, not really been involving himself in news, bad or good. He's normally one that'll keep to his own, and then with this tax scandal and all of this different stuff going on, it's been kind of unusual for him. I do think he won't be in the news for long. It's very unlikely. I think this will fade and he'll be back in the news for the good things like scoring and being one of the greatest players, debatably, of all time. Now on to an injury update from Barcelona, and this is surrounding Javier Mascherano, who was injured in that game against Real Sociedad. And apparently he has a hamstring injury, and based on what Barca's official site said, Mascherano will be out 10 to 15 days. He underwent medical tests on Wednesday, that would be today, this morning, to determine the extent of the injury. So 10 to 15 days, so it's not too serious, but he did sprain his right hamstring, so he will have to take that and be careful with that. He was forced to exit in the 35th minute in the victory, and he will only miss a couple of matches, which is fortunate for them, as it would be a big shock, or not a big shock, a big hit to them if they were unable to have one of their more senior players playing. And now on to some news surrounding Luis Suarez. And Luis Suarez, after having that 10-game suspension finally ending, he made his comeback today against Manchester United. I'll tell you how that game went, but it's probably his last chance, according to BBC Sports' Alistair McGowan. He said that the South American is out of lives at Anfield, and this is Suarez's last chance. So, to quote him, he said, "Without a doubt, he has let a lot of people down, including himself. The club have stood by him, so have the Liverpool supporters, and you can see why, because he's a phenomenal player, and you want phenomenal players in your side. But even the best players have to go, and if he doesn't continue, if he doesn't pick up his work ethic, if he doesn't start to fix his personal problems, I wouldn't be surprised to see him out and possibly going to a team like Manchester United that has shown interest in him for the past year. He was almost going there this summer, and I think in the end, even if they do keep him past January next summer, he will be going to Manchester United. And it's finally time for him to return, and he did make his return today against Manchester United in the Capital One Cup. Of course, this is a competition where the winner moves on, the loser goes home. So let's go, and this is a great transition from the news, the news stuff going on, into talking about what happened today in the scores in the games that went on. So let's start with the Manchester United-Liverpool game. In Luis Suarez's return to soccer, they were playing at Old Trafford in England. That is the home of Manchester United. And the game was close through the first half. They went 0-0 into the break, so obviously very tight. Javier Hernandez, though, within 1 minute of the second half, wriggled away from the defender, Jose Enrique of Liverpool, and managed to just get a small touch on the ball from a Wayne Rooney corner to put them up 1-0, and they keep it that way for the rest of the game. Possession was very close, 53-47 in favor of Liverpool. And Liverpool actually only one corner kick, and that was to Manchester United through the game. There were 3 yellow cards issued to Liverpool and 2 to Manchester United, so a very tight game. Liverpool beat Manchester United, in case you didn't know, recently. They actually went on to win 1-0, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, on a Daniel Sturridge goal. Daniel Sturridge has been playing absolutely terrific of late. And, it was actually, it was 2 weeks ago. I just saw the result from today, and I thought it was their past game. But no, it was September 1st, so a little bit longer than I thought, 3 weeks ago, actually. But they managed to score in the 4th minute and keep it that way on a Daniel Sturridge goal. So now they're tied 1-1 in their past 2 games. But Manchester United getting revenge when they really wanted it. Obviously, it would have been tough for them to suffer a defeat there. But they did manage to win the game, which is very important for them. They really don't want to suffer these big losses, and if they continue to play this way, if Manchester United continue to play this way, then they could find themselves getting back up in the table after losing a couple of games and not playing, necessarily at the level they want to be playing at. Liverpool, on the other hand, they started off the year phenomenally. There was no question that they were playing like one of the best teams in the world at that point, but not playing as well of late. I don't have anything to complain about. I don't want to say that they've been playing poorly, but not at the same level they were playing before. I believe, let me see if this is their second straight loss. I believe this is their second straight loss in a row. Yeah, they also lost to Southampton last weekend, so that's 2 losses in a row. They also were only able to tie Swansea. So things aren't going well with Liverpool right now, and they're going to have to get themselves back on track as they fall in the table. All the way, they were in first last week, or 2 weeks ago, and now they've fallen to 5th place. Manchester United, on the other hand, is way down there, but we'll talk about the tables later. Now on to a couple of other results that were going around in the Capital One Cup, and let's start with Birmingham and Swansea. Birmingham was able to put 3 goals on Swansea to the one that Swansea was able to score, and that goal came in the last minute of stoppage play in the 95th minute by Wilfried Boney. But Swansea, who was playing well actually, managed to, as I said, tie